Hello and welcome to Needing a Meeting. Hi, Henny. My name is Carol. I will be your host today. How's everybody doing today? I was a little late getting the meeting posted. So if you didn't get notifications, I apologize. That's on me. However, my donkey Jet, who decides sometimes to not play well with others, has singled out one little wether of mine named Edgar. And twice today I've had to get on to him for chasing him down and just tormenting him. Poor Edgar. I put him in there with the girls a few months back because he was with the boys, and those boys are rough, those boy goats. And he was starting to look like he was he was like starting to disassociate. I didn't know goats could do that. And hi, Rolling Stone. Good to see you. I'm so happy to see you. And so I put him in with the girls, and he's been much happier. But then I had to switch sides, and I put him in on the Jet side, the donkey side, and so that started happening. And I had to chase him down out of the woods and lure him into the barn where I can get him away from Jet. And this little guy, Edgar, I used to be able to, when he was a little guy, I used to be able to hold him just like a baby, and he would go to sleep. He would just go to sleep, on his back. Now, you can't get him exactly on their back. He'd be kind of straight up and down, just almost like sitting on my knee. He's always been a sensitive little guy. And Jet was picking on him, singling him out. Okie doke. So yeah, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. How's everybody else doing? Plant Freak, Rolling Stone, Ben. Hey, Christy, running behind. Give me about 10 minutes. Okay. We're usually the first as our crowd comes along. I'm okay. How about you, Carol? Doing okay, other than my poor little guy, Edgar. My little sweetie doesn't want to hurt anybody. So anyway, anybody else got anything new? How have you been, a Rolling Stone? Hi, Ben.
Okay, how's my voice? Ooh, that might be a little loud.
Here you know. Good job.
Okay. Too loud? Okay. Wow. After all that, I forgot what I was going to say. You were going on about the saga of Edgar and Jet, Jett. Or okay.
Or J, either one will work.
Okay, I didn't know if it was Jet or Jeff, as in Jeffrey.
Well, they had named the people we bought him from had named him Jack. I'm like, really?
Oh.
So, so I had to have something that was a little close to what he was used to. Because that just like really, I mean, I've got Gary Cooper out there. I've got Buddy Holly out there.
Nice.
Nice. And I've got Mick out there. He's not necessarily after Mick Jagger, but not after Mick Jagger.
Does he have a big mouth?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's a big personality guy. Been kind of busy, kind of useless, kind of isolating. Okay. You know what? It's so tempting to do that, isn't it? It can be really tempting to do that.
It's accidental for me a lot of times.
Right.
Studying so much, and it's just my brain isn't as elastic as it used to be. I used to be able to pick stuff up, and now it's like old dog, new tricks. No.
Yeah, You think that people are kidding about that stuff. They aren't. Those old people that used to tell us that. But and once you get into the habit of isolating, it's
Yeah,
very hard to break out of.
sure. Yeah, that's one thing interesting about habits is a lot of people will look at people who are successful and in anything, not monetarily, of course, but people are successful in doing things. They say they have so much discipline. And that is one thing that I've found. It doesn't take a lot of discipline. It takes a little bit of discipline multiple times to make things a habit. But yeah, it seems like it seems bad habits you don't want, pop up a
Oh,
lot.
but man, and they just sink in so quick. What is that?
Yeah, I don't know if it's
faulty wiring or something.
Yeah, novelty or focus. Well, yeah, novelty causes focus, but yeah, I don't get it.
I don't either at all.
Uh-oh.
There she is.
I just have my camera off because I'm outside real quick.
Okay.
And then once I get downstairs, I'll turn it on.
Okay. Very good.
Hello, Birdie.
Oh, downstairs. Okay, I always pictured you being up in the second story or something.
There's like there's 3 floors to the house, but I opted to the basement just because it's not as bright like upstairs. It's just sheer over the windows, and I already wake up really early. So if I could sleep in, please let me. But as soon as I see the sun, I'm awake.
Interesting fact, Henny. There's a noise that can not be heard by people over 30, but that children can hear. There used to be some kind of buzzing sound that I couldn't get away from. It used to drive me nuts as a kid, and I guess I've either gotten used to it or maybe it's that noise. I don't know.
Yeah. I still hear electricity. Unless the power's out, I constantly hear a hum.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Yep, Cosmic's here. Cosmic might be able to confirm. It might be a neurodivergency thing. That's what I've been told by a couple other people anyways.
Yeah. And hey, Cosmic, good to see you. Woo, that bird's really
happy today.
Oh.
We can hear that bird really. We can hear that bird really well. Just so you know.
I forgot I opened the door so we get some air in here. Change the air out. And yeah, he thinks that's a new thing.
He has some things to say on needing a meeting. He has some sharing to do.
Yeah, that bird. Oh wow.
Cosmic Christy can hear when my neighbor says you can hear when my neighbor turns on their TV. Ear piercing well, aha. Is that an ostrich? A Rolling Stone wants to know.
He thinks he is. Actually, no, he thinks he's a mighty eagle, but in truth be told, he's a cockatiel.
Right on. Is that the ones that are wild in Australia? Is that the word? Is that the ones with the?
I think so. All the strange birds come from Australia. So, and he's definitely strange, so therefore he has to be else. My butt. I do have to know. I guess Cosmic's probably not on. I was wanting to know what game her kid was downloading, but I guess I'll have to wait.
We have wild budgies and cockatiels, says Cosmic. Okay, so that's the same thing you see. Oh, is that the white one with the little curly cues
at the top?
That go back and forth like this?
I think so, but I'm unsure.
Is a cockatiel white?
Oh, cockatiels are usually colored. They're
oh, okay.
Well, most of them are gray. They just have a colored head.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
And a mental dysfunction.
Hello.
Hi. Okay.
Woo. So how are you?
I'm good. I'm trying to get over the nervousness of going excuse me, going out, as you can tell, and burp a lot when I'm nervous. So
Oh,
it's just like my stomach reacts immediately to nervousness. And then I'm like either hiccuping or burping. It's one or the other.
when you say going out, do you mean being outside or going out on a situation?
Like going out on the town, essentially.
Okay.
So I'm going to a suburb of Montreal tonight.
Yeah, that's
and then
right.
I'll come back tomorrow morning. So that'll be nice. That'll be fun. I'll be avoiding bar type areas, but Dune came out today. So there's a possibility I might be going to see that. It really depends if it's completely sold out at the theater that has the English version.
Okay.
So that's you can't buy English version. Well, you can buy English version online, but I'm having issues with it today, apparently.
So they're in Montreal, so it's going to have overdubbed. Is it going to have overdubbed or is it going to have subtitles?
Well, you'll have the option. Like if you go into a larger city, as long as as long as you go to Montreal or like Montreal, greater Montreal area, you'll have the option of the original English version or the French dubbed version.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do they have headphones or something then?
No, they just do separate screenings.
Okay. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
They do separate screenings. So one whole theater will be English, one whole theater will be French. And well, I think I saw the one theater I was looking at, the Guzzo, it was like 3 versions for French and 1 version for English. So we'll see. If not, whatever, I'll wait a couple of weeks and I'll try again. But I really want to see the movie. I love Timothy Chalamet. I love that story.
Yeah.
So I need to see it. That's all.
And it's like a prequel, isn't it?
To be honest, I haven't looked much into what the second one's supposed to be about. I'm trying to let it be a surprise for myself, because when I read things about movies, I get disappointed.
Izzy says, I'm missing you by a day. I'm going tomorrow.
Oh!
And a Rolling Stone says, you look really nice, Stasia.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I was big into the Dune series. I read almost all the books, if not all the books. It's been 40 years almost now.
Yeah.
But since I've read them, but I loved the movie because it was just so outrageous. But if you didn't read the books, you wouldn't know what in the heck was going on.
Yeah. Well, one thing I loved is how they call it spice, and that's what me and my friends used to call everything that was not legal. So for me, it was like I didn't get into the books. I didn't actually really get into reading until I was in my early 30s. So that's when I read Dune, was in my early 30s. And it was like, okay, well, I love this story. And then I started, like, Star Trek was the next. Like, I started reading Star Trek books. I completely missed, like, that romance phase that, like, most girls go through, apparently. I'm like, no, I've not read romance novels. I like to go to the nerdy stuff immediately.
Yeah. I didn't read much I wasn't much of a reader in high school, but when I got out, I really just gobbled up a bunch of stuff, and now I'm not much of a reader again. I don't know.
I'm trying to get back into it, but my brain races right now.
Yeah.
So the best thing for me to do, I think, is to try and settle the brain racing and then try and go back to it. I tried to read The Life of Pi. I got like 2 chapters in. I love that book. I've read it like 4 or 5 times, but I just couldn't get myself into it. And I'm like, okay, now this tells me I really need to wait if I can't read a book that I love.
Now, was the movie any good?
The movie was okay, but I am always disappointed from book to movie renditions.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
The only ones that I honestly haven't even seen was the 50 Shades of Grey, funny enough, in the lifestyle that, I have followed. But I've not, like, I read the books and I was like, this is horribly written. And then I just didn't even bother with the movies. When you can finish 3 novels in like 2 weeks, they're not well written.
Okay. I'm reading Romeo and Juliet and the best of Edgar Allan Poe. Well, all righty then.
Oh my goodness, that sounds great.
Krista Melinda, my bodice ripper phase in the 20s. Remember how Shanna was? But anyway, yeah, I mean, the movie was, I was all up into Dune for some reason, and that was just that period of my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to have one of my friends decode the movie to me. But once I started getting into the basic story, rewatch
Yeah.
the movie, it's like, you know what? I actually kind of, and I know it's not popular to say, the version with Kyle MacLachlan and Jean-Luc Picard and all that.
Yeah.
I actually like that version. I saw
I
the
did
new.
too. That was my jam. Big time. The
I mean,
big
yeah,
guy that would blow up and float around. He
Yeah, they-
fascinated me. Just
They-
endless.
They took quite a bit of license with the what do you call it, weirding modules and all that. But
Yeah.
still, it's like,
Right.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I can't remember the last movie I saw must have been a Star Wars, because I don't really go to the movies. The movie theaters kind of gross me out,
Fair.
being honest, because I just
Fair.
I know they don't clean those chairs. And those arms on the chair.
I never thought of
Then-
that, but now I can't unsee it.
Sorry, Ben. Sorry, Ben.
Sorry about that. Then we had a pandemic, and I'm like, you can't get me anywhere near a theater. I don't care if it's Star Wars anymore. I mean, maybe I could get over
See,
it.
that's
for
when
Star
I enjoyed the theater, is when it was the pandemic. Because if you were vaccinated, which I got the first 3, then I ended up going for 2 or 3 movies, and it was like maybe 10 people in the theater. I'm like, I can deal with this. This
Yeah.
is okay.
Yeah.
But like when the theater is completely full, and that's probably why my anxiety is a little bit higher, like the chances of me getting tickets for tonight is really low. But just the thought
Really?
of I might get tickets is like, oh my God, that theater is going to be so full. There's so much peopling at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
The
and I'm
sleeper
just like,
has awakened.
yes.
I do still like the line. What was it? And I don't know if it's in the book. I haven't ever confirmed it.
Kind of-
In the book. Fear is the mind killer.
I
That
kind of
is a
beg to
good
differ,
line.
but that's for another time, Matrix. Rip off of Dune. Well,
It's a space opera to me.
in that aspect, yeah, but yeah, there's really
Yeah.
not much of the storyline that it has in common.
Yeah.
I'm trying to hold on. I gotta get this
Trying.
typed up.
It's like
Just a minute.
Wheel 3, the Blair Witch Project. Okay.
I'm gonna lay y'all down. So, let's see. Hold on. Let me get me situated. Y'all should know by now when I say 10 minutes, it's more like 15 or 20. I try, but you know, my time telling skills are like my math. It's just off. And the best lighting in the whole room is in the bathroom. But Michael's gonna come home and take a bath. It's not that kind of show.
My pearls!
Right?
Oh,
Come home and want to take a bath, and then I'd have to move from the good lighting, and then that would be horrible. And so I never read 50 Shades of Grey, never read romance novels, never read sci-fi, skipped right to transcendental authors. So Whitman, Emerson, Thoreau, total history nerd, political nerd, anything like that, sci-fi can't do. Truthfully, can't tell you the difference between Star Trek and Star Wars. I know one has Jabba the Hutt and the other one has Klingons, but I don't know which one has which, if I'm being honest. And my husband would be mortified.
Klingons are definitely Star Trek.
I just know one of them had Chris Pine and he looked really cute. I don't
That's Star Trek as well. Yeah.
Okay,
that's Star
okay,
Trek
there
as
we
well.
go.
Yeah.
And the other one had Harrison Ford in some sort of like frozen metal thing.
That would
I
be
don't
Star
know.
Wars.
Star Wars.
Yeah. See, do you see
Han
what
Solo.
Yeah, I don't know. And I know there's a whole thing about Princess Leia, but I really don't get that either, if I'm being honest. So,
I love it.
that's been my day. I am in a better part of town. I'm in a nicer, obviously brighter hotel. And the cool thing is, I just discovered I'm only 8 minutes from a really good shopping center. So that made me
Ooh.
very happy. Yes, yes, I was very happy about that. But beyond that, yeah, so that's what's been going on. So
So-
yesterday was fun.
Okay, so there's Roberto. Hello, Roberto. Welcome to Needing a Meeting. Good to see you.
Hello.
Hey, I'm gonna go grab my cord. My laptop is not turning on for some reason, so I can't see the comments. Give me a second. You can look at my
Okay.
beautiful wall. I'm sure Sweetie will probably hop up here too.
Like taking Mama's spot.
I've been trying to find somebody who's taking ketamine. Are either of you two doing?
I know
ketamine?
somebody who's
looked at-
taking it.
I don't. Yeah. There is someone who comes here who had talked about it and said
Yeah.
it was doing wonders for her. But
Okay. Oh, yeah, Tara. Okay.
And then I have another contact as well, Ben. I can talk to them if you'd like. Male that has been taking it, I think, a little bit over a year.
Well, yeah,
So-
the thing I found interesting, because I kept trying to figure out how ketamine helps. I mean, I was just trying to figure the rationale behind it, because ketamine is a dissociative. It's like, how does that help? But somebody told me that with depression, you can enter a stage where everything, it almost sounds narcissistic, and I don't intend it to sound like that, but everything's projection upon themselves. My life sucks. My job sucks. My social, standing sucks. This sucks. My life is suck right now. And apparently that's what ketamine is used for, is to get them out of that cycle, which I found interesting, but I was just wanting to see how that worked.
And it's hit or miss. I mean, the people that it works for, it works really well. But there's always that risk that it won't. And the pricing was prohibitive for me. For it to be a might not work deal,
not worth it.
Cosmic, they're asking about your back, and Kristen wants to know about your laundry, Christy.
I have free laundry. I'm so excited. It is the best thing. When the lady said free laundry, I was like, I'm not a hugger, but I would hug you. Like virtual hug. Yeah. Oh God. It was amazing. No, what are you doing?
And how about your back?
It's the coughing isn't doing it any good, but other than that, it's all right. I guess, yeah. But I think that's why it hurts so much. It's because I'm coughing so much. But yeah, it is what it is. Apparently, it's sinuses, so I'm using this allergy nasal stuff, which is terrible, and it's so disgusting. It runs down. It tastes bad. It's really bad.
Just the thought of
I
it.
cover it. Yeah. So and then I've got this cough mixture, which I'm just swigging out of the bottle because otherwise it just gets everywhere. It's really sticky. But yeah, other than that, everything's good. My house is still tidy-ish. Well, pretty tidy.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
right on.
I'm not sure if Mia's going to do netball today. She had a bit of a crook tummy.
Oh.
So that's not until 3:00. So, but we'll see. No, I don't know if we do have NyQuil. So yeah, this is just a Benadryl. I don't know if it's the same.
Yeah, we have that here too.
Apparently. Yeah, no, this is.
I don't think we have it in liquid form though, unless it's for babies. Or it used to be one for babies that was a liquid.
Yeah, I'm just.
Fred, I need to keep looking for Buckley's for you, Carol.
What's that?
I need to keep looking for Buckley's for you.
Oh, so last time I looked for it, they had a shortage of it, and that's been years ago. That was way pre-pandemic. It is the strongest menthol pine tar, who knows what all.
It tastes horrible, but it works. and it's a
But
cough
it
syrup.
works. I mean, like instantly, your everything clears up, and it's the thing that got me through like years of bronchitis.
Oh, okay. Jeez. We can
Yeah.
barely get anything here. So, which is fair enough. You shouldn't be able to just get anything over the counter. But, you know, it'd be nice without having to go to the doctor. My doctor
Yeah.
recommended all this, so it's all good. But,
Right
it's disgusting.
I
So-
bet.
It's no fun when you're sick.
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah.
Feels like I'm always sick.
Well, now
No.
that you don't have that stressor around you that you had, I'm
Yes.
hoping that your health is going to start to take a turn for the better.
I hope so. I've already been able to eat a little bit more. Not heaps, just slightly more. So
Yeah.
if I can just stop the weight loss, that'll be right. So
Right on. Yeah.
yeah. Otherwise, all good.
Hopefully,
Are you, do you have an anniversary?
I was 60. I'll be 62 days now, I guess.
We missed your anniversary? You let us miss your anniversary?
Oh,
Oh my God. Why did you let us do
Hey.
yeah, thank you. No, the thing is, I just forgot because the thing is, it's like say it again. Because I started on the 1st, it's easy for me to just count back.
yeah.
So I just looked at the date. I was like, oh, today's 60, and it was after our meeting. So
Oh, okay. Okay.
yeah.
Well,
So-
congratulations. That's fantastic. And I'm so excited
Yeah.
for you.
I'm
Yeah,
so
thank you.
proud of you. You're doing so
Mhm.
amazing.
Yeah.
I love
Definitely.
it. That's awesome.
Thank
Here's
you.
here's the Queen Mother wave.
Yes.
Her little flutter thing that she did.
Oh, yes.
Yes,
Oh.
thank you.
Of
So,
course.
yeah.
Awesome.
All right, moving right
Yay.
along.
Moving right along. I love when you say stuff like that, though.
Yeah, we need to celebrate those milestones.
Yes, we
I
do.
know, but
It's as important for us as it is for you.
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
well, you guys are a big part of it, so thanks.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you for sharing it with us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I just want to say it was quite a journey, and watching you go through it really taught me a lot. You know, I've never been through a journey like that, but to see you go through it was really, really inspirational and very helpful and cool, and I'm just so proud of you. So
No, thanks. Oh, stop, I might cry.
Yeah, I am too.
Aw.
I am too.
Yeah, well, thank
Incredibly
you.
proud.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. That means a lot. So
yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
if I disappear, it's because I'm
And you-
going to get some tissues.
Get this over so you guys aren't looking at the TV.
And even though you have health problems, you're looking healthy. I like what I'm seeing. I do.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Well, I like changing it up a little. So I don't like being the same all the time. Although I like wearing the same clothes. But I think that's an autism thing. No,
Okay.
maybe a neurodivergent thing, yeah. Because textures and familiarity and all that sort of stuff. So, but yeah, but other than
Right.
that, I like changing it up.
Yeah.
Right
So,
on.
yes. So, how's everybody else?
I was gonna ask you guys. I have a question for you. So, and everybody in the chat too. Like, I want to know everybody's responses. So, I don't like to be surprised, like to the point that I am the type of person who, when I start a book, I skip to the last chapter and I read the last half chapter because I want to know how it ends. I Google movies, the
I do
endings
that. Me
of the
too.
movie
All of it.
before I go to it because I cannot handle it. Gives me anxiety to not know the ending of a movie. I cannot tell you the last time I sat through a movie. And Michael, it drives him nuts. He's like, don't Google it. And I Google it on the way there. I'm Googling it. And so then I sit there and I'm like, oh, I know how it ends. I literally, so is that like, do a lot of people do that? Is that like because I only do it with like books and movies, and I love to rewatch things, but not. I don't think it's because I'm OCD and like I can't not know. I just really have things that I love to watch. But is that? Do you guys do that? Is that a?
I do that. I
On
can't handle
some
it.
things, not all things. The problem I have with movies is I do like to let the movie take me along, and it has to be a good enough movie to, you know, take me on the journey and keep me engaged in the journey. And my big problem is Mr. Sherman over there. He can always guess what the ending's going to be, and he's usually right. And so he'll start. I can tell when he's getting ready to say what the ending's going to be. I'm like, nope, nope.
Yeah.
I can't. I have to know. Like, and
I think it's a control thing.
Do you? That's
Yeah, because it is for me, because I need to control everything that's within my control. I'm going to control that. So it's within my control to know the ending, and so it stops me from getting all that tense feeling that you get throughout the movie because you don't know what's happening. I hate that feeling, that tenseness. So
I hate it. Yeah.
So I you know,
some things do stir up that feeling, but not all things.
Yeah,
you
well,
know,
if it's
but
like,
I don't watch psychological thrillers. Can't do those.
No,
I love those.
I can't do
horror films.
Anything with extreme violence, you know, unless it's like stylized. I can handle Kill Bill, but I can't handle, like, I don't know, something that's more realistic, you know, because Kill Bill is very cartoony. It's very cartoony.
I liked Kill Bill.
Yeah. Well, see, that's the only type. Quentin Tarantino movies seem to be the only ones I can handle that's extreme violence because it's so stylized.
Right.
There's nothing realistic about it. I'm not going to expect the Yakuza to come and get me after, you know, I wear a yellow jumpsuit and escape a coma, you know. That's unlikely to happen.
Right.
Yeah. Anything that's got anything to do with harming children or
I can't. Yeah.
Anything that's related to me, I can't do. And if I'm forced to, because a lot of times I'm forced to watch things I don't want to. So if I'm forced to, I'll definitely read the end of that. But if it's something that I want to watch, like, I don't know, a Marvel movie, most of the times I'm seeing them pretty early, so their plot's not there anyway, which is really annoying. But so I can't deal with it, and I think it's control. It's control for me. So,
okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. You know, mine is I can't watch horror. I can't do even like Walk Dead. I can't do that. I can't do any Rob Zombie movies. Michael likes to watch Rob Zombie movies. I can't do those. But anything that it literally affects my energy. Like, it affects my soul to watch it. And so I don't even watch those. Even if they're the cheesy fake, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre things, like, I can't do it. Even if I know it's fake, I still can't do it. It's like the energy comes through the screen and it just sucks into my aura, and I'm like, I can't. But I was interested to know if anybody else did that. But it makes sense with the anorexia and the controlling things, still needing to control something.
You know, if something's really tedious and isn't moving along in a way that in a rhythm that I can track with, then I'll want to skip to the end.
Yeah.
And then if the end is worth sitting through the whole thing through, then I'll go back and decide if I'm gonna continue on this journey.
Then I'm like Mr. Steve Klingon, and I'm just like constantly guessing what's happening through the movie, and I'm like, oh yeah, see, that happened. See. And normally before I enjoyed psychological thrillers and horror movies, but I think that was to make myself believe my life wasn't so bad. So now at this point, I tried one horror movie. I tried the horror movie here with a friend, and then went to Ontario and tried the same movie again just to see if I could. And I couldn't. I just couldn't.
Yeah.
No.
I can't. I can't do it. Um, I could probably do a. Oh, I'll be right back. Hold on.
How about you, Ben?
I was going to criticize her for that, but then I realized I have a tendency to watch a lot of movies on fast forward.
Oh.
So I was going to berate her about that, but yeah, I can't. I don't skip ahead, but at the same time, it's like, oh, I'm glad I didn't watch that pile of crap.
Yeah, you know, I hate that when it's like, that's 2 hours of my life I never get back.
Yeah.
I did that with Magic Mike. I listened to the first, I don't know, 10 minutes of dialogue or whatever they call it. And then I'm like, no, fast forward. Watched it all on fast forward just to see what I was missing. I haven't seen anyone's after that because I'm just like, nah, not into that. So I thought it was a bit silly. But TV shows I can handle because I can kind of guess what's coming because they're slower.
Yeah. They can stretch the arc of the story out a little further. Yeah.
I'm very annoying at it though because I guess what's coming because it's so obvious. A lot of it's so obvious because I've watched so much TV. I've watched so much TV over the years because I used to be the one who used to stop and record for my dad. I did VCRs and stuff. And basically they're doing the same plot but redone, renewed over and over and over and over and over again. You know? So
that's my issue right now is I have no hope for like TV or like movies. It's just like you're just doing the same thing over again. And then I'm just like, oh look, they're actually calling it a remake this time. Yay. Yay.
Yeah.
Yes. I can't watch the new like the live action Disney remakes. I'm like, it's not right. It's not right. So even the new Astro Boy, like the new cartoons, they've overdubbed them with new voices. They don't sound right.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I want to go back. And the new Ninja Turtles, that sounds terrible as well. So Splinter doesn't sound anything like Splinter used to sound. But
hasn't Ninja Turtles had a few incarnations though?
Yeah, but I used to watch the cartoon one on TV, you know.
Yeah.
It was the cartoon version. I think it was might have been Japanese first, I'm not sure. But the cartoon version, the original one, that I think it was in the early 90s, because I would have been fairly young. So
wouldn't have been Disney?
No, I don't think so.
No, okay.
Sure. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll have to go
unless they recently acquired Ninja Turtles, the franchise.
Yeah, well, I think they might have after the movies, because like, you know, the live action movies, which I thought were hilarious. Terrible, but hilarious.
But it didn't start out as Disney.
I do remember being at Disneyland in like 91, and they had Ninja Turtles there at that point.
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised because Disney owned it.
Well, maybe I'm wrong. Huh.
I would have to, that's the only reason why I asked, because I remember getting like, you know, those autograph books, you know? I remember going around with my little pink autograph book and getting April's like yellow signature put in my book. Yeah. The only signature I couldn't actually see later because it was yellow.
Yes, I've seen them so many times just by myself. I wore out the VCR that we had. If there's a movie that's on YouTube that's called Foot Rot Flats, A Dog's Tale. You can watch the whole thing. That's kind of it's a New Zealand type. Well, it's made in New Zealand, voiced by New Zealand actors. It's a New Zealand cartoon, but it's hilarious. It's like very Kiwi humor. Yeah, I'll put the link in the thing. It's all on there on YouTube. You can watch the whole thing on YouTube. So
there was a New Zealand movie that Steve and I really got into, the Hunt of the Wildebeest or something like that.
Hunt of the Wilder People.
Yeah. Wilder People, yeah. And we just loved that movie. And we especially loved the Ricky Baker song.
Ricky Baker. Yeah, that's a Taika Waititi. I can never say his name right. He's a rock dude, Korg, from one of the Marvel movies. I think it's
Oh yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he's got the Kiwi accent.
Deadpool. The second
Yes,
Deadpool movie.
thank you, Deadpool.
Yeah.
He's in Deadpool as well, and JoJo Rabbit, and he does a whole bunch of those. JoJo Rabbit, I thought was actually a really good movie. A bit confronting. There was one section I wasn't ready for because it was one of the movies I was like, I'm sitting there for this. It's a Taika movie, and one part I'm like, whoa. So if you're a bit sensitive, there's a trigger warning on it. But his movies are amazing.
Yeah. That was a great one. That was such a good movie.
Yeah,
I don't even know if it's still on Netflix, but sorry, go ahead.
I'm not sure. But yeah, What We Do in the Shadows is hilarious as well. It's like a mockumentary.
Is that a show or a movie?
Show.
The first one's a movie. The first one's a movie.
Okay.
So,
I've only seen the show.
I was having a little trouble getting into the show, but maybe if I watch the movie.
I think you need to watch the movie. And there's a Kiwi show as well. They've done offshoots of it. There's one that they've got police officers and they're hunting down a whole bunch of there's werewolves and all that sort of stuff. It's so funny.
Really?
Reece Darby's in it as well. Yeah. So I just love the I'll go out there and bang on the drum for Kiwi movies any day because we make great ones. So
yeah. If that one's any indication, I would have to agree.
Yes, Flight of the Conchords. Yeah, they're Kiwis, and Reece Darby's in that as well. He's the manager.
Yes, I love that one.
Yeah. Oh gosh, there's a really funny thing where he's doing it because he used to be in the New Zealand military, and they used to have to conserve bullets. So instead of firing guns or whatever, they'll go bullets, bullets, bullets.
My goodness.
I've got to share some of his comedy clips with you. It's so funny. He's so funny. But yeah. Anyway, moving on from that.
So I missed it. Ben, what were you going to give me grief about when I had to get off the phone? Because my husband, who told me to go buy groceries so I could cook dinner, wanted to know what I wanted from Panera Bread for dinner.
I was so going to pick on you about your habit of reading the last chapter first and wanting to know how the movie ended. I was going to dig out the DSM-5 and I was going to try to figure you out, but then I realized I can't because I don't do that, but I do tend to watch movies on fast forward just because I want to know if they suck or not. And most often, it saves me a lot of grief. So
dig out the DSM-5. Let's see what's going on with me. Now we know.
I've been trying to get through this. This is not an interesting read. It's like reading.
Yeah, that looks like a real page turner there.
It even
has help me, sir.
I was reading up on what was it? Caffeine withdrawal. One of the things for caffeine withdrawal I was talking about was vomiting. I haven't known anybody who's had caffeine withdrawal so bad they start vomiting. Like, really?
Yeah, I haven't either. I get headaches.
I was going to say I've gotten shakes and I've gotten migraines, but I don't think I've ever vomited.
It might be for people who have really high, the energy drinks because they've got extreme amounts of caffeine in them.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that.
Something about that level of caffeine mixed with they put taurine in it.
Taurine,
Peel me off the ceiling. I do those things.
Yeah, no.
Makes my heart jump.
I'll be stuck to the ceiling by my closet at 4 a.m. Just wired.
Could you imagine me hacked up on caffeine? God, I'm bad enough.
Oh my goodness.
I've just been drinking tea lately.
I'm like one of those toys that the batteries die and I just go, no.
Yeah.
J9 Jet, the donkey, has not been behaving. That's why I was late putting up the show today. He was picking on Edgar again. Ew. Edgar's my sweetie. He's the one that I used to be able to like sit up on my knee and kind of rock him a little bit, and he'd go to sleep, and I could just, he was just the sweetest thing, and he just gets the hardest time because he's just so sweet. What is that? What is it about sweet people that get such a raw deal? Why do people go? Why does nature go after that level of sweetness? What is that?
They go after the weak.
It's seen as a weakness,
I guess.
Yeah, but
yeah,
I'm sorry that he was doing that.
Oh, Edgar.
He's jealous.
Yeah.
Taken after Joan Jett, living the life of a rock star.
There you go.
I think they need a common enemy. I think you should make up a doll like oh gosh, I'm just gonna say Lionel Richie. I shouldn't say Lionel Richie. Who's the Antichrist again?
Me. Oh no, hang on, that's a secret.
Michael Bolton. You should dress the doll like Michael Bolton. Let them turn on him. Gee whiz, I can't believe I forgot he was the Antichrist.
Okay.
Oh, but how can you live without him? Isn't that his song?
Without it. What's that?
Oh, I don't know. I was just trying to think of a Michael Bolton song. I can't think of any.
Oh. You know,
all I can think of is the hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, when in the 80s he had a decent song.
I used to like him actually. I like his music.
Fool's Game or something like that, and it was a decent song, and then something happened in the 90s, and I'm like, what happened to you, dude?
I always get Michael Bolton and Richard Marx confused, and I know they're not like, how do you confuse those two? But I do. You say Michael Bolton, and I start thinking Richard Marx.
Richard Marx pretty funny on Twitter.
Is he?
I don't know about Michael Bolton. Yeah, he was. Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen his stuff on Twitter, but he was pretty funny.
Love people that are funny. Like, I love to just laugh and follow people whose stuff is, you're kind of like, oh, like Wendy's. Wendy's is always first to everybody. They're amazing. I'm like, who hired you? Like, that was so hard.
They got a good social media manager. With our police service in Queensland, they've got a really funny person as well. They start usually it's on Facebook. They start Facebook wars with the police services from other states, and all that sort of stuff, and try and come up with the most weirdest crimes. It's pretty funny.
Right on.
Yeah, it's good engagement for the community, I think.
Yeah.
Right on.
Humor is disengaging. When you can make someone laugh, you kind of take away their shield, sort of thing.
Yeah, a little bit.
That's how I get
the shield a little bit. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's really hard to bully someone if they're making you laugh. So
that's true.
It's hard to have a bad day or be cranky when you're laughing.
That's true too.
If you have a bad day and then you just start laughing, it's kind of one of those things, Or if somebody gives you a compliment, you're kind of like, how can you really be horrible to that, Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And, laughing it's good for your endorphins, and it brings people, that's why they have those happy, they have those happy circles, and they'll just laugh at nothing. And then eventually you're laughing at you're laughing at other people laughing at nothing, and that's hilarious. So
that is funny.
Laughing at
true.
people laughing. That's my favorite, because you hear these people laugh, and it is just like little kids that giggle. Oh my gosh! I'm not a big fan. I will be honest. I am not between me and Michael. Okay. If you had a baby and you wanted somebody to cuddle and coo, Michael would grab the baby out of your hands. He's just like, babies. And I'm like, no, good. Like, you just keep it over there. Don't need to see it. Don't. Yeah,
I know that too. I'm just like, I've done my time, thanks.
nails done, and the
here.
woman that was doing my nails, she asked me if I wanted to hold her baby. And I was like, sure. And so I held her baby, and her baby fell asleep, and she did my manicure and my pedicure. And I'm just like, this is the weirdest thing I've ever experienced in my life. And I told Michael, and he goes, wait, you held a baby for like an hour and a half? And I'm like, I did. Yeah, I did. And it slept. And he's like, it was calm. And I'm like, yeah.
It was calm?
I'll be like, can you knock some off the price of the free babysitting I just provided? Thanks.
Yeah. I'm not going to touch any babies anytime soon. I need to just make sure that the ovaries don't hurt first, you know.
I was like, I don't want children. I was done having children at 27. I'm like, we're good.
Yeah. Yes.
I have no choice anymore, so that might be like half of my syndrome. It's just like, oh, but look at it. So I need to let the ovaries not hurt.
I do have to ask, since you are so well learned, I would have thought British humor would be so elevated beyond anything as, knuckle dragging Americans can understand. Okay, I do like Monty Python. There's another qualifying statement. However, Monty Python compared to British humor like 007. We're talking the old classics, with Sean Connery.
Michael Caine.
Yeah, rather it was Connery, Roger Moore. Yeah, it was Roger Moore. I keep thinking it. I keep getting
the 007 humor is very dry. It's very dry.
Yeah.
Their humor was, well, it was people's names, like octopus. It's like, that's 5-year-old humor. Like, is this supposed to be so, like, what's up with that? Is that British humor, or?
For those who aren't, British humor is very double entendre, like it's very much that. So there was a dude who sings that's like, he's singing by something about looking in a window, like he's a window washer looking in a window. And it's so raucous. And it's actually, he's actually he was the Queen Mother's favorite singer. So, someone would get out the ukulele and sing this terrible song about some dude, some peeping song into a window. Red Dwarf, Blackadder, that sort of stuff. That's kind of more the humor now. But it's still very double entendre sort of thing. So unless you get someone like Jimmy Carr, and he's flat out, there's no double entendre in it, but he's just pun after pun after pun,
Well,
and that's,
I was feeling rather debased until I started thinking about that, because like my kind of humor is like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the movie, where one of the vampires gets his arm knocked off. He's okay, boys, kill him a lot. I like stuff like that.
Or that dude who's kicking the door. He goes, ow, 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 and he's dying. Ow, ow. I still find dramatic like that, because that's from the Buffy movie. Hardly anyone I know has seen the Buffy movie. So they've all seen the, Sarah.
The Buffy movie was good. What is your damage?
Oh my God.
That's the first time I ever heard that, and I was just like, that was hilarious to me at the time.
Yeah, that's a movie I used to watch every weekend.
I'm the one who does not like Monty Python. I'm like, really?
Oh,
really? I am the humor that I find, like, it's either really stupid, like Napoleon Dynamite, or which cracks me up. And I just laugh and laugh and laugh. But there have been so many times where Michael will pick out a movie like super bad, and I literally just sit there and I'm like this.
Oh my goodness.
So I don't like it.
I love Princess Bride.
That is a good one.
Yeah, Princess Bride is my humor.
I love Princess Bride so much. I can never get tired of seeing it ever.
If someone doesn't like if someone doesn't, I'll sit there and watch Princess Bride with someone. I'll look at them and their reactions, and if they're not into it, I don't like them anymore. Because they're not going to get me.
Christy, do you like Princess Bride?
To watch it again because I haven't watched it in so long. But I can't. That's the thing is like I can't explain to you what I find funny. What I find funny is like nerdy stuff, you know, like inside jokes and things like that. But there's not
Like
really like
the IT crowd. That was
there's not really.
Oh, I love that show. I love that show so much.
Yeah.
I haven't seen
I
it.
watched mostly British humor. I watch a lot of English and American, and I watch a lot of TV and a lot of shows because I have a lot of time. So there's a wide range, but I feel like American humor is very obvious. A lot of it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say obvious, but you know, like the comedians are a bit obvious. So you know the stand-ups. So I like the ones who tell a story and weave.
Yeah.
I like the story. I like storytellers. You know.
Yeah.
So
That's
personal.
probably my thing. Like I think what's funny is actual real life stories that you tell because you're just like, wait, somebody really did that. Yeah, that's mine. I want to laugh at somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
Inconceivable.
Inconceivable. Yeah.
I love the it does. If you haven't seen it, it's fine. Like mine is my name is Montoya. What is it? You killed my father.
My name is My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father.
Yes.
Prepare to die.
Yeah, I love him.
Now,
It's my favorite.
I'll have to tell Michael. I'll have to be like, look, we've got to watch Princess Bride because I don't remember it. I know
Marriage is what brings us together.
But here's the thing, you guys. If I don't like it or find it funny, I'm gonna lie my backside off about it. And I'll be like, "This was great." I can't lose you guys as friends, so I'll just watch Michael and see what he laughs at, and then I'll be like, "This is funny."
But the thing is, what you're looking back on it now, you have to take into account that the special effects. It's a Mel Brooks movie. So,
yeah.
So yeah, but I love Never Ending Story too.
That is such a good one.
Seventh son wants to know, was it a real child? There's a place my wife went to because it was the family-owned business of. Anyway, he wants to know if it was a real child.
Yes, it was a real child. It was the cutest little baby. But yeah, no, it was a real chunk of a baby. But yeah, everybody was completely and I'm just not like, even when I was like old enough to have children, that I had my tubes tied at 27 because I was like, I don't want any more. I had 2 that were 14 months apart. Please don't do this to me again. Oh yeah, it was horrible. I mean, I love my children, but being pregnant for basically 2 years was really not fun. You know?
No, it's not.
It's not a good idea. It was
the worst experience of my life.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. No. So what
I just threw up constantly.
Well, speaking of funny, I'll tell you this funny story about how I almost got Michael beat up by all these pipeline workers in British Columbia.
Oh dear word.
Talking about babies. Okay, so as I mentioned, this backstory is really important. I had my tubes tied when I was 27 years old. Okay, so I had not been able to have children for an extremely long time by my choice, because as I just said, I'm not the baby lady. Okay, I don't want to hold your baby. Don't need the babies. All right, so we were coming back. We had been in Alaska. We were driving back down the Alaska highway, and I all of a sudden, like, you know, the universe picked that time for me to start premenopause, right? Okay, so we all know the waterworks and the emotions that come with that. And I had been on the road for 3 days with no shower. I was sleeping next to my husband and my dog. I looked like the leader of the Hairy Unwashed. Michael looked like some bohemian, like, hippie god, because the man doesn't sweat, he doesn't stink, he doesn't get dirty. And I was just so mad. So I had been crying. I had been hollering. I was hungry. We were in British Columbia, and there was this hotel restaurant place called the Sasquatch. And it's like you're not even off of the Alaska Highway yet, okay? But there were all these pipeline workers. Now, what you need to understand about pipeline workers is they're really, really rough, okay? And they just don't put up with anything. So if they think something is sideways, they're going to fight you first and then ask you why they fought you second. All right. So we walk into this place. We'd been on the road at this point, I think, 2 days. So, I mean, I was just dirty, stinky. I was crying. I was right in the middle of this emotional breakdown. I could not pull myself together. I mean, I could not quit crying. So I go in and I sit down, and there's all of these guys around, and Michael's there. And you know what Michael looks like, and you know what I look like. And I'm just in tears, and I'm hysterically crying. I'm not just like, I'm like, doing that, okay? So it's not even like a little like, I'm ugly crying all over the place. So we sit down, and all of these guys start looking at Michael, and Michael's like, stop it. And I'm like, I'm trying. And he's like, stop it. He goes, you're going to get me in a fight with all of these guys. There's like 20 guys. And I'm like, I'm trying. So I kept getting up, going to the bathroom, coming back, getting up, going to the bathroom, coming back. So finally, the waitress comes over. She's like taking our drinks, and she's looking at us and everything. And all of the guys are mean mugging Michael. I mean, they're just like this. And he's like, stop it now. He's like, what's your problem? And I'm like, this is literally what I said. I can't have children anymore. What? He goes, you don't like children. You've not been able to have children for over 20 years. So then the waitress comes over, and she asks it. She just turned her back to Michael. She put her arm in front of him, like to block him. And she's like, are you okay? And I'm like, yes, it's menopause, and I can't stop it. And I'm so sorry. My husband is the sweetest man in the world, and I love him, but I can't have babies anymore. And she goes, oh, it's okay, honey. I understand. And he goes, no, I don't think you do. She's 46. She hasn't been able to have babies since she was 27. And the lady's like, oh, okay. She walks over to the guys, and she's like, and Michael's like, do you see that? I was going to have to fight this whole place because of you. And I was just like, oh my God, I felt so bad. And then we finally get into Alberta. Now I'll tell you the story about the Looney Tunes. So I'm just a mess. I hadn't showered. Oh gosh, let me finish this. And then this is him. Let me finish real quick. I hadn't showered. We find this laundromat that we go into. I have a handful of quarters, or well, loonies and toonies. I have no idea to this day what is what. But I walk in, there's this poor 16-year-old kid, and I'm like, I need a shower. And he goes, well, you know, do you want to pay with loonies or toonies? I'm like, take my Looney Toonies and give me a shower. His aunt comes out. I'm assuming it's his aunt. And she's like, I got it. And she gives me a towel, and she's just like, look, just go in there. I get done taking a shower. I come out. She thought I was a different person. She literally thought I was a different person. Okay. It was so bad. Yeah. I'm like, just take my Looney Toonies. I don't know.
Future reference. Toonie, 2 different colors.
Oh, yeah, see, I didn't know. I was just like, please. All
Future
right,
reference.
What my husband wants. Let me call you. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's good. That's good.
That was good.
Oh. Man.
Woo.
Yeah, and I had a call, like, because every week I'm having a call with the social worker with child services here just to kind of check in. So we did our check-in, still felt like I got stuff done, but it was also like, well, how are you doing? And it's like, oh, wow, how much do I really say? You know, it's like, how much do I express, how much I've processed, and where do I stop and where do I begin? So I shared a bit, not everything, but I shared a bit, and I was just like, here, this is enough. And then we're gonna have a visit where she kind of like monitors. Like Rowan's gonna be here next weekend.
Okay.
So she's gonna drop him off and spend like an hour to monitor.
Okay.
Which was a part of the court agreement from the last date. So I'm like, okay, well, this is going to be interesting and this is going to be fun. And I know that it's going to be okay. And what they want to make sure of, I know I'm not doing, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just like, it just feels like an infringement. But at the same time, I asked for help, and this is where asking for help got me. So as frustrating as it is, I just kind of need to follow through. So my frustration level is starting to come down, and I'm just following through is starting to come up.
Yeah. I'm not sure I follow this one, but Rolling Stone is saying, well, that silly thing, drop down thing came on. Come on now. Stacia, tell the shrink how mindful you.
Confusing. Or not confusing. I'm confused. Sorry. Oh, thank you, Misha. It is what it is, and just following through is what I'm going to do. And I understand that I have a level of fire under my butt right now and how much I want to not stay quiet, but the best thing to do is to stay quiet for now and keep that fire under my butt. But like, I'm starting to voice record instead of writing things down.
Okay.
The reason is because I go back and I read what I wrote, but I can't remember the emotion.
Oh.
I can see I was angry with how hard I written the paper, but what was the emotion? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm starting to voice record now instead, because then at least I title it, this is my thought, you know, this was thought for this like 25-minute rant. And then I can go through it and listen, but I can hear the emotion, which is a lot easier for me than trying to go back and read it and be like, so what does that chicken scratch say again? And I can tell I was angry because it's like deep indented in the paper, but what precisely was I angry about?
Right.
So that was a suggestion by one of the social workers that I'm working with. So I was like, that's great. I'm going to do that. So
right on.
I think, yeah, that's going to be my new way of keeping track of that. But like journaling my actual emotions, like trying to work through things, I still need to write it. Motion, whatever it is, from mind to paper, it feels good, and I feel like I process more.
Yeah.
Whereas the other stuff I can't really process, I just have to manage. So I may as well voice record what I'm managing, because I can't work through it anyways.
Yeah.
But when you're voice recording, it's not the stuff that you need documented for this and that.
No,
and
that stuff is written down.
Okay.
That's the one. And some of it is stuff that I'll need documented potentially in the future.
Okay.
But part of that documentation, I need to understand the feeling behind it too.
Right.
So that's where I was having the issue. Is like, if I go back and I'm reading something, it's like, what exactly was I feeling, and which section was I mad on? Yeah. Or which section was I upset on? You know, so it's easier for me to hear it through the voice recording than trying to guess.
Yeah.
And that's going to probably come in helpful, you know, a few years down the line. But I think that's why I need to do the voice recording. Because what happens if I'm 4 months out and I just started going back into like beginning of all of this, starting notes, just trying to see where I was. And it's like, I can't remember. And that's only 4 months.
Right. Well, and there's so much raw, intense emotion too.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's a great idea.
So I was really grateful for that tip. When did I get that? Monday morning or Monday? Yeah, Monday morning. So that tip was just like, yes.
So what Rolling Stone was,
He just
So
popped up
what
on my
Rolling
head.
Stone was trying to say, when it comes
Yes.
to these intrusive counseling sessions, it's always good if you can out-psych the psych.
Yeah, I feel like I was doing that a bit, and it just but then I felt like I was also over explaining. So it's almost it feels like a double-edged sword. If I over explain and I psych the psych, how is that going to go for me? Because I thought I was doing that before, and look where that got me.
Yeah.
Well, and you want it to be beneficial, and you don't want it to accidentally hurt anything that you're working toward.
Yeah.
And so and I think you've got more at stake than, some people,
Yeah.
and so yeah, maybe just look at it like, how can I get the most from this particular situation? Like
Yeah.
if you're stuck with him,
Yeah.
and that's who you've got to have, then maybe just look at it, how can I get the most from this? If
Yeah.
you've got
And
it
it's
there.
the worker that I'm talking to now, it's one that I prefer out of the two that we were dealing with. So
Good.
it is the one that I prefer, but then it's just my distrust. And I think it's understandable.
Oh, yeah.
It's just my distrust where it's like, I don't want to hide anything from you, but I don't know how much to share with you because, I shared before and look what that did to me.
Right.
Maybe say that. Just say it. Say, here's where I'm at. Because what happened, it was very it was very real for you. It was very traumatic for you. And just say, I'm sorry, but this is going to take a little bit of time for me. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And that would give you a really good gauge as far as, how she responds.
That's a good idea. I might do that when I talk to her next Friday. Because today it was like I was doing my best to be like, well, I'm working through this stuff, but then I also had to figure out how to say like, but I see my fault or my this in it. And it's just like, I do see that. Of course I see that. But I also don't see that I have as much in it.
That's right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm like, well, do they not understand how re-traumatizing it can be to have to focus on what it is that I did? Because I understand what it was now. I understand it was reaction. Like, for example, when I brought up the name thing, when we were talking about the Prince Harry, Meghan Markle, I started using his name when angry because that's what was happening to me for years. So I thought, well, if this works for me, then it's got to be working for you, right? So some of the behaviors are just reaction.
Yeah.
A lot of the behaviors are just reaction. And I don't want to discredit how I reacted, but I also see the reality of it.
Yeah.
And, I think it's really... Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to share what Rolling Stone was saying. I guess, to put your best foot forward, but don't overshare any negativity and be aware that you're dealing with egos who want to think they're helping you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
And well, what I was going to say was, even saying something like, I see where I came short. Like, that's a realization. That's a good thing, and it could show them like the other side. And we all know me, I'm always, positive. The other side is you are taking the time to work on yourself and understand your part in it. And even saying, look, this was my part. It wasn't large, but it was my part. This is why it's traumatizing for me to talk about this. I guess for me, I just see that as growth, and I see it as being very positive. And I just don't, and again, naive. I just don't know how somebody would spin that against you. I could see how they could, as far as, well, she admitted to this. Well, yeah, but I admitted to it before, or whatever it was, and I just think for me, I think if you can show growth,
Right
I
on.
don't see how that hurts you. You know,
See, and that was my mindset today, just kind of opening up a little bit. I was trying, at first it was like, okay, this is the funny thing is sometimes in my head, I'm like, what would Christy do? And then it was just like, I'm like, okay, so we're going to spin this into like a positive. How do I take this into a positive right now? So in the time, like instead of taking time to think silently, I shared what I had done for the week. To like, because that's information I already have, right? That's information I wrote down that gave me space in my head to be able to think a little bit. And then I was just like, okay, well, I wasn't very specific on what I was working through, but just explaining that, you know, I have had to figure out what's me and what is this other person. And just having my own voice is different. Understanding that my own values and my own opinions matter is different, and it's something to get used to.
Okay.
And like that was the easiest way that I could put it. I still went into it a little bit more detail, but that was the easiest way that I could put it without placing blame, because I don't want to place blame. Of course I don't. You know, and I do recognize my issues in the situation, but I also recognize my hurt, and I think that that's normal.
And it's important. It's important to recognize your hurt and where you hurt. And you know, and to say, you know, I mean, again, to say, you know, he wouldn't even call me by my name. I felt devalued as a person by that. You know, that's really powerful. And you know, and I don't know how you twist that in court. I'm not saying that it can't be. I'm just saying I don't know how you do it. And being married to who I was married to for a long time, I really am pretty good at seeing how you twist things. Twisted. But you know, but the other side too is as you start processing some of this abuse, you know, sharing it with them might give you some insight if you feel it's appropriate into, you know, I mean, don't do anything that's going to jeopardize anything, of course, but you know, I think it's important that you're processing it and understanding it and, you know, and figuring out how, but I think you're perfectly fine to say, look, you know, once bitten, twice shy, man, you know, like I shared, you bit me. So I'm going to be very, I would just say, I'm going to be very measured and mindful in what I share with you going forward, because I don't have the trust coming out of the situation that I came out of and what happened, that this is really benefiting me. I'm getting benefit from it, but I don't know that this is benefiting you. You know what I mean? Like,
you know what's funny is as you say that, I realize I kind of said that. I kind of said like I did kind of say like my trust factor is rather low right now. So, you know, and it was fairly generalized when I said that. So it's just like, okay, so I did kind of let them know, but I think I might need to be a little bit more clear.
Specific,
Yeah, a little bit more specific so that they understand where some of this distrust is and why, to me, it's there. But as much as I'm loving talking, I have 10 minutes until my ride is here. So I gotta go. I'm gonna see you guys tomorrow though, because I'll be back before meeting. Thank you for letting me spew right before I go, because I kind of need it.
No worries. Read Rolling Stone's comment if you got a second.
Yes. When you're in the system, you better tell the system what it wants to hear. I wouldn't rely on anyone with that kind of power. And with my deep issue. And I didn't know that as a foster kid. I assumed the system was there for me, but the system was there for me when I was a foster kid. Now I'm a parent, and I didn't see that difference when I first started talking to them. Now I see that difference. I can recognize it. But I do think that was a stumble that I had made, was making the assumption that this was anything like when I was a kid.
Right.
So again, I can see
And you might have
myself in
actually
it.
had people that you might, when you were a kid, you might have actually had people that gave a crap.
Yeah, because I was the kid that was needing help. Right?
Yeah.
Now I'm a parent who they're trying to protect from. Or, they're trying to protect the child from situations. And I'm one of the parents. I was a part of that couplage, and that couplage is now broken and it was rather toxic. So that affected our child. No matter what, that affected our child.
That's right. That's right.
So I didn't see that difference at first. I didn't recognize it. Now I do.
Anyway, sorry to keep you.
It's okay. Thank you. I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Good to see you.
Bye.
Bye. Well, I guess Christy is off to the races, whatever that looks like.
She's off to spread the Hobbit love.
I was asked earlier if I've considered getting another donkey. I have been considering it, but now I'm a little gun shy because I got the donkey some cows, and the donkey started doing the thing to the cows that he did to Edgar, poor little Edgar out there. So yeah, I'm not willing to bring another being into the situation, even if it's another donkey, because I don't trust him. I trust him around me, okay, but I don't trust him around other critters.
Wow.
Maybe that'll change. Anyway.
Animals.
Yeah, I hadn't given up on the idea, but for now it's a no.
Yeah.
Can we call him McDonkey? Absolutely. Was I going to need a bigger donkey? Probably. Donkey burgers? Probably.
Well, you can always put, crock pot or a pressure cooker. That's the way to go. Tenderize that meat up.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, my Lanta. People think that farm life is calm. It is not.
Especially when you're trying to protect animals, and yes.
Yeah.
Hard work. A lot of hard work.
Yeah. Glad to have spent time with you, Henny. You have a lovely evening as well. Give Edgar my love. I will. Poor little guy. My Edgar.
I had a really interesting thing pop up. We were talking about confusion statements and how you use them. An example of confusion statement, it's a bunch of words that don't make sense. And what you have to use a lot of confidence to do it. It's all show. But it would be something like, just think about how different it would be if everything was different, if nothing else did. And it's like, that's just pure babble. But what you do at the end of it is you slide a little statement in there. Like, you can relax, you can do this. Well, there was a magician or a mentalist by the name of Darren Brown in England. And he was coming off of his show, and he ran into a couple. They're both drunk, guy and the girl. And the girl was kind of feeding him, like, yeah, kick his ass. And, of course, he's all dressed up. Mentalists usually are. They're all stage makeup. He had drop earrings. He said, yeah, I probably should have had my ass kicked at that point. But he's walking along, and he said he couldn't think of anything to do. And he knew he was going to get in a fight. He knew you can't talk with people on that level, or else they'll disengage. So, yeah, he used a confusion statement. His confusion statement was, my walls aren't tall. And the guy's like, what? He's like, my walls, they're not tall. In Spain, they're very tall. They're like 8 feet tall. Here, he's in England. Here, they're very short. They're like 3 feet. And he said, while he was saying this, he was thinking of his next response. He was going to say something like, your left foot will become unstuck before your right. But he never even got that far because he said it with such complete confidence. The guy just kind of, oh, fuck. And he just started crying, and he wound up sitting next to the guy who's talking about getting in a fight with his girlfriend who bottled somebody, and they wound up being the best of friends. But yeah, confusion statements are. I've only done one right once, and it's interesting. But yeah, the thought behind it is what happens is your brain will start to it understands every single word. You have to say it with a lot of authority, a lot of clarity. It understands every single word, but it's trying at some level to, what the flip did this moron just say? And while it's doing that, you can slip little commands in. You can say, you can relax, you can breathe easy, and it actually works.
That's amazing.
That hypnosis.
So there really is a Jedi mind trick.
There actually is, but unfortunately, you have to have a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
And some people are easier than others.
Yeah, I would not have that kind of confidence, I don't think.
Yeah, it is. It's
if,
very
if
hard.
If the moment just hit me just right, I might.
Yeah. But it's, yeah, I had to practice my statement over and over and over and over and over again to get down to rote memory. But
yeah.
Interesting. And the use of those, you use those to slip in, little commands like relax, and that's a big theme in hypnosis versus guided meditation. Hypnosis will say relax. Now we're going to count back. You always have a lot of times you'll have countdowns, and they'll work in statements to countdowns like 10, 9, ate a good meal that was heavenly, or was as heavy as bricks, 7, 6. And you can do that, and that's how you can tell if somebody's trying to do hypnotism on you. They'll work in things like that. But Scoville actually, and it's so interesting because I see so many things in mentalism that Tommy Scoville hits on from a completely different angle. Like when you're trying to change your life, you're trying to change your behavior. One of the things you want to do is completely rearrange your house. Maybe just furniture, paint the walls, something. But what you're doing is you're getting your mind to say, this is new. This is signaling. This is a different person. I'm a different person now. And stuff like that, it seems like, oh, that's nothing. But it actually does help a lot.
Right on.
And that is the new experiences and things like that is what, and Tommy hits upon this, but he just does it from a different angle. It's just so interesting.
It is. It is.
But you have to go through tons of,
Now, I didn't actually get to see what your book was, but.
The new encyclopedia of stage hypnosis.
Oh, okay. I will make my bed's made, Kim. Thank you. Good to see you.
So that's
what?
Reading. But and that's a central teaching is the delaying gratification for the future person, self-care, self-love, love of yourself, but in the future. I'm going to do things today to make it easier on me tomorrow and stuff like that. But I'm just going on.
So Rolling Stone wants to know why you're reading that. Is it a new career?
Just learning.
Right on.
Just learning.
All right. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Tommy said this is the first step to changing your life. Yep. And he's right.
Yeah, and that's novelty, which creates focus as well. So
I wasn't. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, a focus is you.
Well, focus is a lot of times how you can create new behaviors easily. Focus is why you get people like in the Milgram experiment. That is where you've probably seen the stuff in high school or grade school, where there's a black and white movie where people are told to shock somebody they don't know, and they have the scale. It says, 1 is just a little shock, and you're supposed to read these questions off, and it keeps going higher and higher to finally people think that the person on the other end, they start shocking them, and the person on the other end is trained. He's an actor. They don't know this, but they start screaming louder and louder the further up the scale they go. And finally, they're crying at the end. Please don't do this. Please don't do this. And most people would still hit the button where they thought they killed them. And it's just as part of an experiment. Most people participated in it. And that's how a lot of people, I did the Nuremberg, a lot of people in Nuremberg trial were talking about stuff like that.
Right. Oh my God.
Yeah, it is amazing what, and that is really what I'm digging into it. It'd be interesting to know how people are trying to manipulate others, and it's happening all the time. I mean, at different levels.
Well,
Sometimes
yeah.
you're manipulating people, and they call it, if you're manipulating people for a good reason, they call it persuasion.
Right.
But and you're trying to leave people better than you left them, better than you found them. I get that.
Yeah. And Kim was bringing up the whole bed making thing, and it is true, because I wasn't making my bed. I was just kind of down and out, and just not feeling it and not doing it. And a few days ago, I made myself do it, and then the next thing you know, I'm starting to work on the rest of the house. So
that's the same concept. Yep.
Yeah.
And you're just trying to create novelty, which will create that focus, and that helps your brain absorb it and assign more meaning to it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm really glad that I did the work that I did on the house, because we had the termite guy come to do an initial inspection to give us a quote on, doing a policy with them and all that stuff. And so it was an in-depth inspection, more than just what they would do once a year.
And I take it turned out beneficial.
Yeah. The termite people that I've had are just super duper expensive. It's too much. It's too much, For a little while we were okay and could afford it, but now we've got to tighten our purse strings. And Focus was something they used in Schindler's List. It was a black and white movie, except for the little girl in the red coat. Oh,
I don't remember the girl in the red coat.
I don't either.
I could have missed it.
If I can hypnotize myself into being my most awesome self, then teach other people how to do it too, I think that's the ticket. I think you're right, Krista Melinda. I'd sign up for that too.
a lot of hypnosis is trying to talk to your lower brain, which the going theory is, actually, I don't think it's really it's still a theory, is your lower brain doesn't talk in language. It just talks more in emojis, and it's our outer brain which understands language. And it's,
okay.
Your inner brain understands this isn't safe. This is dangerous.
Yeah.
Get out of here. I'm, this is funny. This is, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know why I went on that.
Well, I think it's pretty fascinating, actually. It is.
Yeah. But I'm sorry to hear about all the woes of farm life with all the farm critters. My gosh.
I know.
It sounds like a logic puzzle. Animal A doesn't get along with animal B, but animal A will get along with C or D in this situation.
There's a whole lot of that on this farm anyway. I see why people have cows around here. Cows are just cows, and they just do what cows do.
Yep.
Goats have these little personality things, and
baby goats are so cool, though.
They really are.
When they get all happy, they can't control themselves. They just gotta.
They turn into little airborne corkscrews, and it is pretty great having little babies around.
How's the dog doing?
She's doing better. Yeah, she's walking better, and she got out a couple of times today, but I left the gate open when I was dealing with all that jet mess. I haven't been as mindful as I needed to be, trying to do better. I always love this meeting, but I find myself wanting to sleep. Well, that's not a bad thing, a Rolling Stone.
You're probably exhausted.
Yeah, you probably are. Sounds like you have a lot to be exhausted about. They really are a Rolling Stone. They really are the cutest things. Then the termites. I wake up when I kick or punch or scream. I kicked my wall yesterday so hard I thought I broke my toe. Ouch. It was a damn fine roundhouse, I'll say, though. Okay. My idea of utopia, says J9, would be surrounded by goats. Yeah, that's why I have 30, because I can't bring myself to sell any of them, and I need to. I really need to. And I tell myself this all the time, and I don't do it.
Well,
we don't have termites. We're just trying to keep from getting termites, and you have to keep a termite policy going, where they come and they inspect and all that good stuff. So it was just getting a new purveyor of the termite prevention and insurance policy thing. That's all it was. There's no termites. Boric acid, though. Okay. Yeah. Well, I don't know what you missed, Izzy. That was a while ago. I've blinked since then.
I do love Christy's stories.
Indeed. Indeed.
She does not have a lack of personality, I'll put it that way.
Not a bit. I told her when she gets her channel going, it's gonna take off. I know it is. Well, do you feel like you've had a meeting?
I have. Do you feel like you've had a meeting?
I feel like I have. I do. That is good to know, Kim. Thank you for the advice. Because we might have some of that to deal with down at our far barn. So yeah, that's a good. And I assume it can't really hurt goats. I don't think they're really going to come around and do much around the barn, but you never know.
I have learned a real important lesson that 9 million Scoville heat units is a hell of a lot. Lord Kiss Freak's trying to kill me.
Yeah. It would seem that's what the end game is there.
He's not on because we were going to do tinctures together and see. Although it's cheating, he doesn't even have to be. He just likes to see my reaction, I guess. And Tommy is not as much of a wuss as he likes to say he is. Because the tube of terror is no joke. And I can't believe he downed one.
Yep. Nope. No tube of terror for me, thanks.
I mean, doing a few peanuts will get me to throw up every time. So it's like, this isn't fun.
My veins aren't going to be ready.
Use it around my cats. It works on termites, fleas, and all sorts of bugs. Okay. Good to know. Thank you, Kim. I appreciate that. Well, then the dude robbed banks. Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Well, I do hope you have an awesome day, and
hope you do too.
I hope you're able to keep all those animals in line, and you give them what for. You let them know who it is they're messing with.
Well, yeah, you kind of have to be that person when you got those situations. So you just kind of know getting around it.
You tell them who the authority is, or you just let them walk.
I was doing this stomp walk thing around him, just to show him, I'm the bigger batter, even though I'm technically not, but he needs to see me that way.
Well, you have a good evening.
You too, Ben. Good to see you. Thanks, you guys. This is another fun one. We like the fun ones. Those are good. Yeah. Yeah, I love you too, Rolling Stone. Love you guys so much. I love coming here every day. It does my heart good. And it's because of y'all. You know that, right? Well, I hope to see you next meeting. And until then, peace, y'all.